Wait, say that again. Was I sniffing something? What happened with that? Say it again.
The time is now. Welcome. My name is Dr. Slava Shut. I'm a CEO, entrepreneur. We have a special guest today. Let's go. I want to welcome Matt Sweetwood. Matt is a CEO, author, speaker, coach, photographer, and a father. It's a pleasure to have you with us today. Thank you so much. What can you tell us about yourself?
Doctor, first of all, it's a pleasure to be on with you today and talk to your audience. So thanks for having me. I'll talk about one of my favorite subjects. That's me.
Nice.
Right? In today's world, right? In today's world. So I'm a Jersey guy, born, bred in New Jersey, spent many, many years there, raised my 5 kids as a single dad there, wrote a book about it, Leader of the Pack. You can see it sort of over my shoulder there, the book.
Where can we find it? Tell us about that book. I would love for people to go get it.
So it's called Leader of the Pack, How a Single Dad of 5 led his kids, himself, and his business from disaster to success. It's how I grew a business from $1 million to $100 million and raised 5 kids on my own after their mother walked out, and all sorts of crazy things happened that were all kind of a function of my stupidity. So the book is a big mea culpa, how you can mess your life up and how you can find spirituality and maybe dig your way out of that and find success. What I'm most proud about the book, though, so I'll get back to the story, you know, my journey a little bit, is that it has a lot of positive reviews. You can go on Amazon or go to my website, msweetwood.com, get the book. As people say, it changes their lives when they read the book. So for me, that's a really meaningful result, because as you know, if you've written a book, it's not really about making money off the book, even though people think that, because when you calculate the number of hours it takes to go in a book and what you do, you'd probably be better off at Starbucks part-time to come out ahead. But nevertheless, the book is really transformative for people. It helps a lot of people. And so I was born, bred, raised in New Jersey, raised my 5 kids as a single dad there, grew a company in the very difficult photography, camera, electronics business to $100 million. I successfully exited that business. And I'm one of those guys, after doing that for about 25 years, exited the business, woke up the next day and it's like, well, you're unemployed and you're a loser. So we need to figure out what to do. I went out, I wrote that book, Leader of the Pack. I did some consulting, I speak. Sort of wound my way around, served as an interim CEO for a few companies to help them along, just sort of get them going, and ended up here in Florida after a little stay in New York City in my current endeavor, a company called Greener Process Systems. And we have technology that, ready for this one, that captures the air pollution from ocean-going ships when they're in port. So I went from the electronics business, selling cameras, let's say, to a mega clean tech business that is going to actually change the world.
Well, you know, tell me a little about it, because here's, you know, people say the same thing about me, because I have multiple businesses and a lot of them are taking care of people in some sort of way, but some of them are diverse. For instance, I'm a doctor of physical therapy, and I also have a financial business. So how is that the same? And I tell people they're actually sort of related in some way, taking care of people, but you went from one form of technology, which is, you know, camera, creative, artsy, and then something that takes maybe a scientist to do, right? So tell us, you know, because you're such a busy guy and you have multiple businesses, tell us how you pivot and shift like that from one to another, very diverse places, requiring very diverse knowledge and requiring what, scientific help, or are you a scientist?
Yeah, so it's a really interesting thought process that allows you to do something like that. But I've always been lucky enough to kind of be the head guy, the CEO of the company. And CEO-ship does not change that much from company to company. And the answer is yes, I am a scientist too. I have advanced degrees in computer science and mathematics and things like that. And we're a bunch of geeks now. So I'm really in my comfort zone right now.
Geeks are cool now, man. Did you know that? Geeks are now cool.
Cool. Excuse me. I've always been cool. I'm just stating that. I'm just stating that for the record. Okay. So I was in a business that it really wasn't even the creative side of the business. It was really a selling kind of business, camera store, wholesale business, selling cameras and film and all sorts of things like that. And my book talks about how I don't want to say I got stuck in that business, but I had 5 kids to raise, and it was a business that was supporting that. And as a result, I couldn't really leave that business. And like I said, if you read Leader of the Pack, you'll understand why I ended up there. But I was able to pivot out of that business and then look for a really good opportunity. And, you know, I'm guessing we're about the same age. And when you, plus or minus, 10 or 20, no big deal. So when you get out there, I think that I said to myself, I'm not taking another permanent gig or anything like that, not unless I can find something that really makes a difference. And this company came along, and the opportunity to make such a difference in air pollution, and not with like phantom green tech. Our product allows the continued use of diesel fuel in freighters, which allows the world to run and the economies to continue going and clean up air pollution, which causes about 70% of the pollution in cities. A single freighter emits the pollution of 20,000 cars without catalytic converters. So air pollution is a catastrophic from ocean going ships is a catastrophic problem worldwide. And my company has the tech. We're the only ones that have tech like this. And we're about to install it in a bunch of ports. We actually have a contract right now to install 3 ports in Europe. And we're fundraising right now. I actually have a fundraising campaign on Start Engine, and we're going to be big. We're going to be a big company someday.
Listen, that's what it takes. The difference between you and our government, I don't want to get too political, but you're actually doing something and not just blowing smoke. No,
that's right. And see, I believe in the free market system. I believe in the economy, and developing technology that hurts the economy I don't understand that. Everything that we have that's good comes from the powerful economy that we have. And when you try to gain a small amount of incremental environmental benefit for a massive economic hit, it just doesn't make sense. Yeah, our system actually allows the ports to run more efficiently. It allows freighters to save money. It's a whole business model we have, but our business model not only cleans the air, it's good for the economy, which is, and it's available now. We're installing right now.
And that's the bottom line, because right now is when we need to improve our technologies. Right now is when we need to improve our economy. What would be your strategies for success in business if you were talking to a youngster? And what would you tell your 18-year-old self that you didn't know back then?
Okay, I'll answer the latter first. I would say, don't get married. That would be the first thing I would say. With all due respect to wives out there, no, it applies to them too. This is because to quote Rocky, right? I'm about to get myself in real trouble. No, I'm going to quote Burgess Meredith, who played Rocky's trainer. He pointed to him and said, "Women weaken legs." Okay, right? So I'll say spouses weaken. No, it's all just kidding. So if you read my book, you'll see why I'm actually saying that. So my advice to my 18-year-old self would go as follows. Is that you have to believe in yourself. You have to trust yourself. The biggest mistakes that I've made in my life is when I didn't really trust myself. I didn't either have the self-confidence or the self-esteem to trust myself. And the advice that I would give to young people in business today, which I do give many times to young people in business today, is they figure that they want to be entrepreneurs, because I love that word. Okay. My mom was an entrepreneur before anybody even knew what that word meant, worked for 50 years on her own, didn't even understand what entrepreneur, that had no meaning to her. What I tell them is they want to start up business and they think they're going to be Mark Zuckerberg in, 2 years from now. So I always give them a few of my favorite lines, which is entrepreneurs work 80 hours a week, so you don't have to work 40. Okay, so you should start by working your ass off all the time. Expect that it's going to be hard. Expect that you're likely to fail frequently. You're going to have to work way harder than you would have with your day job. You're going to have to humble yourself many, many times. And in the end, it may fail. And then you have to pick yourself up and start again. And if you're not prepared to do that and not prepared to sweep the floors and write your own letters and travel a double economy class and do whatever it is that you need to do in order to be successful, you're not going to make it. And then I always add one more thing on, which is my personal slogan, which is you should really ask yourself how badly you want it. I know you want to have money and you want to claim that you're the CEO of a company, but how badly do you really want that? Because if you want something really bad enough in your life, you're going to do anything and everything it takes in order to make that happen. And so that's my advice to young people, which they don't necessarily like, but they will find the truth in that or they will fail quickly.
You know, this philosophy, for whatever reason, is considered old school. Yet
Right.
all these billionaires who we look up to say very similar things in their own way. Like, so you youngsters listening right now, and I have a lot of people who ask me questions and come to me afterwards, and and they ask, how do I do this? And we keep saying the same things in a different way. You gonna have to work hard and you're gonna get punched in the mouth. You're gonna fall. The question is, if you want it bad enough, you're gonna get up, you're gonna dust yourself off, and you're gonna do it again. And you're gonna do it again. And you're gonna do it again until you do it and do it and do it again.
That's right.
Awesome. So you're the CEO of Greener Process Systems and the co-founder of Insurance and Lux Now. Can you tell us about the niche that you're fulfilling and what is your mindset in becoming the CEO of an environmental cleaning system?
So for me, the mindset comes from, I think I kind of touched on this a little bit before, in the sense that, when you get to a certain age in life, you really, for me at any rate, I really want to do something and leave the planet in a better place. I know this sounds very memeish and almost like we're about to begin on a rom-com. We're going to kind of, have this candy sweet romance kind of talk, but that's really what it comes down to. I spent enough time selling boxes in my life and selling cameras and, selling tripods and running a warehouse and doing those kinds of things. And the mindset for me is that I know I'm going to save a lot of lives if we're actually successful at what we're doing. And we're going to change the world a little bit, because our clients at Greener, which in many cases are ports or freight liners or so on, or local governments, they talk the talk, right? They always talk the environmental talk, but we're going to force the issue and we're going to get them to put our systems in and walk the walk. And in the end, when I eventually leave this business and we have a few $100 million company, God willing, I will have saved a lot of people's lives and have cleaned the planet. And right now I have 3 granddaughters and I wouldn't mind leaving the earth a cleaner and greener place for them.
Beautiful. And doing it for real, not just
doing it for real. In a year or so from now, we will have a bunch of our systems installed in Europe. And that will only be just the beginning.
I'm looking forward to it. So I know you're an inventor, but I want to know and pick your brain a little bit. What invention out there, life-changing invention, would you like that you have put your name on it? Like,
you mean from the past or in the future?
In the past or the future, what things have already occurred or you're thinking of that you would like to that you have put your name on it?
I think I would like to build a lie detector. Given the current environment, I think that would be an extremely useful advice, because, and I'm going to divert the conversation a little bit in the following way, is that one of the most upsetting things for me as I look at culture today is the truth no longer matters. It really almost becomes irrelevant. It's whatever you believe is what's supposed to be. And I find that very upsetting. So I think some technology that allows us to communicate in a more truthful way, I think would be something I would want to have my hands on. If not, a device that cleans the air will do it for me.
That's beautiful. It would be really cool. Like every time, like the president or what, somebody from government got up to speak and they had your device on their head, and all of a sudden, like, red light, red light. Oh, they're gonna have to redo red light, red light, like to tell the American people and the world, basically, because everybody watches what we do,
That's
that,
right.
hey, guess what? This politician really is lying.
You know, I find it also, I find that this is a little bit, and I don't mean to go in this direction, but it's a very important topic, I think, for the success of our culture, is that people just lie to each other. The truth has, in a sense, has become almost irrelevant. And it's very sad when that happens, because it creates friction between people. It becomes very hard to conduct business. It becomes relationships fail and all of those things. So I'm sorry, I don't know why I took it in that direction, just particularly bothering me. Every day I watch just people lie to me as I'm sitting there with looking at this monitor, and it's just very upsetting.
So you seem very artistic. Did you get any training in photography? Your pictures on Instagram, some of them are incredible. Like, so did you have any formal photography training?
I call it osmosis learning. So what happened in my, and I'll sort of back up to my electronics business. For a long time, we were a B2B company. So we sold cameras and photographic supplies, tripods and bags, and 20,000 different products. And we sold them to small stores. At some point, the small stores started to go out of business, like the camera stores. So one day I had the brilliant idea, after all the camera stores in our area went out of business, that I was going to open a camera store, because I thought that I can reinvent the camera store model. I ended up being extremely successful at that. Within a few years, we had the third largest single location store in the country. Every store that operates, even to this day, operates off the model I created. I'm getting to your question. And one of the ways that we built the store was on an education model. And we ended up running one of the largest in-camera store, in-building photography education universities, we called it, in the country. Drew thousands of people in the store. We created an experience. We created a retail experience that was centered around photography education. And I thought to myself, if I was going to be the CEO of a company that taught photography, I better know how to do photography myself. So I kind of picked up a camera. I just kind of paid attention to all the famous photographers that we would have come by, listen to them, get some ideas, go out. And eventually I became pretty good at it. In fact, when I left the business, one of the photography companies, Panasonic, made me one of their photographers to go around and represent the brand and stuff. I did it for fun for a while, ultimately too busy to really do that, running companies. But I don't know, it's just a little bit of an innate talent. I actually used to be on Fox News and be their photography expert. I was for a while when people cared about that. So I kind of just, like I said, by osmosis learned, and I enjoy photography now. I have a good eye, as they say, because photography is all in the eye. It's not even about the equipment. We used to have a joke in photography. People would see a good picture and they'd always go, "What camera did you use?" So I would always say, so when you go to a restaurant and the food is good, you ask him what pot he used. I mean, no, it's about the skill level of the photographer. And I always comment that I can take a pretty good picture with a smartphone. And a lot of those amazing pictures you see are just taken with smartphone. I used to really piss off some of the photographers too, by the way, because they would walk around with fancy gear and I would pick up a little point and shoot camera and take one picture and grab it. So it's all in the eye.
That's so cool, because, you know, it, like you said, is that the Teflon in that whatever pot? No, it's you know, the pot, but it's how you put love into the ingredients and put together how this recipe came out. And so your eye, have you always been artistic, and like, is there poetry, music, or anything that shaped you to take you in that direction?
Actually, it's a very interesting thought, and I actually know the answer to that. It's taken me a while to figure that, but what it really is that I see everything. It's both a blessing and a curse. So this came out a little bit from the difficult relationships, which I talk about in my book, and becoming observant of the people in my lives and being so aware to protect my children and running a business, and just, I think, some genetics. And so my eyes see everything. They see imperfections. They drive me nuts. Like if that American flag behind me is not level off by a little bit, I will see it and notice it. So it's those kinds of things that I notice, and I think it really helps me more than, I do think I have a creative touch. I always ran marketing and advertising departments, and I have a sense of what looks good. I know how to dress for, a middle-aged guy from New Jersey. I know how to dress myself. I know how to do so I think there's some genetics or something in there. But for me, it's about the genetics of the eye and just being able to see stuff. And a lot of times stuff bother me. People cannot lie to me. People cannot slip by me. They can't take stuff from me. They can't do anything, but it's also very hard to relax when you're in that position. You're always aware, you're always seeing things. So it has pluses and it has minuses, but that eye helps me with photography, to be perfectly honest. So, and I always joke, I take a picture and somebody will go, "That's unbelievable picture." I'm like, I don't know, I just saw it. I just saw it. I just saw it, click, took the picture, and that was it.
I think it's your focus, your attention to detail. Those are very important qualities for a CEO. You see, one of the superpowers that a lot of CEOs have is they're visionaries. And what a lot of people don't understand, we talk about the youngsters, is they may be able to be youthful and energetic, but they don't have they don't have the vision of what is this going to be. So they're very tunnel vision, and they only see the minutia. And a lot of CEOs, they see the big picture. They see the vision. The superpower is seeing what this is going to be in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. And that is an important quality.
Right. And it's an abstract concept too. It's like, I've been asked that before. It's just such a fantastic way of looking at it. So I would always say the company needs to be here, and we're going to get the company to this spot here. This is where I see the company needs to go. And somebody will say, "Well, how are you going to get it there?" And I'm like, I don't know yet.
Right.
I don't know yet. I'm not sure. I know some of the pieces. I have a sense for what we should be doing on a day-to-day basis, what we should be aiming for, I don't know, but we'll figure it out, but it's got to get there. And I liken it to driving. One of my hobbies is I drive race cars. And whenever you want to drive a race car well, you always got to look far ahead. You're actually, your eyes, people always think the car's moving fast. You got to look at the car. You're not looking at the car in front of you. You're looking way down the track. And the further you can look down the track, the better you drive. And I view running a company like that too. You always have to be looking down the track and keep control of your emotions. If you do those two things, you're going to be really an effective leader and an effective CEO.
That's awesome. I want to know about Shark Tank, because it's a popular show. It's so cool to have it on your resume, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about the Shark Tank experience. I think a lot of people would want to know that.
Yeah, so we entered our company in it was a contest from Start Engine. They're a crowdfunding campaign. It's actually crowdfunding platform. It's actually where we have greener processes for fundraise going on right now on Start Engine. And so I don't know, in the process of running a startup company, you're always searching for funds. So it's one of the many places that I applied to, looking for funding and so on. And I got a response from them and said, "Congratulations, you were picked as one of the finalists for our contest." I'm like, oh, whatever. I didn't even know, I wasn't even paying attention that much, because you get these things all the time. And then I finally speaking to them, they're like, "No, you don't understand. Like thousands of companies entered this and we picked 5, and you're going to pitch Mr. Wonderful in a Shark Tank setting, and you're going to, and whoever wins, wins." I'm like, oh, okay. So I did a pitch on it. I did a pitch and we won the crowd favorite in that. It was a really big deal for us. It's a really fun battle watching me sort of arm wrestle with Mr. Wonderful, Kevin O'Leary. I think I kicked his butt, which doesn't really happen very often. When you got him going a little bit of humada, oh, that's really good. That's really good. You got it going good. But obviously from a marketing perspective, in all seriousness for the company, it's really great to be able to advertise, to say, "Hey, you won a Shark Tank contest, you were picked. This is really good." It's actually what funneled us into the crowdfunding platform, because we won the crowd. The crowd picked us as the best company. So we were really excited about it. It was fun to win the money prize, and it was also fun to sort of battle with Mr. Wonderful, and obviously the PR that comes from that is really good for the company.
So cool. I love it. That is what the American dream is. That is exactly what young people should be striving for. That is so cool. And it's popular. I mean, Shark Tank is pretty cool. I like the concept of it. I love the business minds. I love the things that they say. And it really brings out the best in what entrepreneurship and being creative and designers. I love it.
You know, in order to win something like that, in order to, first of all, make it to the show, as they say, you have to be able to represent your company in a way that's appealing and motivational to the other side. And so part of getting there is being able to represent the company in that way on paper. You know, I'm calling on paper, but obviously in a submission. And then obviously when you get on the show, you have to be articulate and be able to be quick on your feet and know your, right?
Yeah.
You need to know your stuff inside and out, because you can get asked anything, and one mistake on that, and you know, it gets very ugly really quick.
You'll be in a fire real quick. Those guys don't play around, and I don't blame them. They're not there for nonsense. First of all, they're successful, and second of all, if you don't know your stuff and you're not there for a reason, you're going to be bye-bye, and nobody's going to know your stuff, and you have to know your stuff.
That's right. And they're sharp sharks. They know what, even in our case, they weren't that familiar with the industry, right? We're in a, you know, air pollution capture business. They had never seen it before, but they still know the tough questions to answer, the questions to ask.
That's awesome.
And you can go, if you go on greenerprocess.com, or you go look on my social, you'll see, if you want to watch the clip, It's funny. You have a 3-minute pitch and then they grill you. So
that's perfect. That sounds like my entire day with every one of my
right.
So we're going to do this segment. It's called the conspiracy game. I think you're going to like this.
Do I wear a tin hat? Do I have to put a tinfoil hat on?
Wear whatever you want. It's all optional. This is up to you. All right. So this is how the game is played. This game is played similar to 2 truths and 1 lie. The goal is to figure out the lie. There are pairs of 3 conspiracy theories. 2 are real, and some people actually believe this, and 1 is completely made up. The players, which is you and I, guess which one is false and made up theory. My team knows the answer, and I have no idea. So I'll be playing along with you. So
we're in trouble. We're working together on this, or are we competing? What are we doing?
We're sort of competing, because we're both trying to figure out which one is the truth, and which ones are truth and which one is a lie. And they did a practice with me the other day, and I'm telling you, these guys are really creative. My team knows their stuff. They created some, I was like, this has to be true, but it's crazy, but it has to be true, and it wasn't. So, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right.
Hi to all the audience listening in, and of course watching us on YouTube. Thank you for subscribing to our channel. So I'm gonna go ahead and start off and give off 3 different answers. 1 is gonna be a truth, and 1 is gonna be a lie, 2 are gonna be the truth. So it's gonna go by a point of 3. So whoever wins, you are the winner. So we're gonna begin. So the first one is number 1. The lottery is a trap for time travelers. 2.
Wait, say that again. Was I sniffing something? What happened with that? Say it again.
The lottery is a trap for time travelers.
That's number 1. Okay, number 2.
Number 2 is pregnant people gain telepathy during pregnancies.
That's number 2. Okay.
And then 3 is the government is hiding a species of Sasquatches.
All right, so we got to pick out the lie out of those 3. All right, so let me review the potential truth and potential lie. I'm telling you right now, it's crazy, but 2 of those are truth. 2 of those, people believe this. We got.
Oh, people believe it. That's the part that I missed.
So people actually believe this. My staff got 2 of these, of the 3 are actually true.
I see. They're not actual. People believe them to be true. I got it. Okay.
All right.
I would think that people do believe, because that pregnant people get telepathy. I think I think that sounds like something pregnant women would say. So
Okay.
I'm going to go say that that's true.
Okay.
That's what people believe is true. I'm not saying I believe it's true. I'm saying
Right.
that's what people believe is true.
Right. So there's one more truth. I'm a scientist myself. I'm a science guy. I do not believe that we are holding Sasquatches a government. I think that's absurd. I believe that one's the lie.
All right, well, the correct answer is pregnant people gain telepathy. Okay, so the next one.
Yes.
The next one is number 1, dairy products contain trace amounts of arsenic. 2, the Blair Witch Project was a documentary. And then 3, Amelia Earhart was a spy for the US.
Oh.
Okay, so people do believe that Amelia Earhart was a spy for the US. I've heard this many, many times.
I'm gonna go. I do not. I mean, dairy containing arsenic.
Arsenic, yeah, I'm believing that's.
Yeah, I don't.
That's false.
Yeah, that's false.
Okay, you both got a correct answer.
All right. Beautiful. Beautiful.
All right,
Yeah.
last one.
So I'll give off these.
Okay.
A cursed mummy on board the Titanic caused it to sink. The British royal family are lizard people, and ibuprofen could cause introverts to turn to extroverts.
Okay, somebody probably believes that about ibuprofen. Who the hell knows? Because they probably have some evidence of it. They took it, right? I don't think that anybody believes that a mummy caused the Titanic to sink. I think that everybody watched the movie and know that it hit an iceberg. So I'm going to say that's the lie.
Yeah, I'm all about conspiracy theories, and I believe that some people believe that the British are lizard people. I don't believe that, but I do believe some people believe that. I think the mummy did not cause it.
I think everybody watched the movie, so they know it did.
I'm pretty sure the captain was whatever he was doing.
Was doing right.
Could have, acted or whatever.
Everybody
but
knows an iceberg took the Titanic down.
Yes, which was the answer.
All right, you guys are both wrong. The answer is actually ibuprofen can turn introverts to extroverts.
So people do believe that the mummy caused the Titanic? Wow.
It's the most popular movie ever. You didn't watch the movie?
That is incredible. I think people need to wake up. But that is pretty crazy.
All right.
One question from the audience that they had a question, and it came from Twitter. Why do people want to earn more rather than reduce their expenses?
Why do people want to earn more than reduce their expenses? Because then they can enjoy life more. They can buy more things. They can go from the entry-level Hyundai to the BMW. People aspire to have nice things. And it's not only about nice things. In many cases, reducing expenses is very difficult, particularly inflationary times, and they need to make more money in order to either, maybe in some cases, just to support their lifestyle in a more comfortable way, to support a relative overseas, to do whatever. So I think that making more money is, I think monitoring your expenses and not overspending is good, but I think people definitely would prefer to make more money. It obviously puts you in a better and safer position.
I agree 100%. We talk about this all the time. People sort of in the middle class, they're still looking at people like Dave Ramsey and that advice of, you got to save, keep saving, save, cut the expenses, be conservative. Okay. And that's where I think that comes from. And a lot of my audience sometimes still thinks that way. And us as entrepreneurs who are trying to be successful say, look, if you have multiple streams of income, money's coming in, invest, grow, expand, and the rest will take care of itself. Just by being safe and saving is not a successful mindset. Sorry. I know some popular people in the money world on CNN claim that, and they keep pushing that, but that's what the government wants you to think.
Right. And there's a distinction between wasting money and trying to cut expenses everywhere, because cutting expenses everywhere is a negative operation. Preventing waste is a positive operation. So not to say that you shouldn't monitor what you spend and not waste money frivolously, okay, but really the goal is always to make more money.
You're right on point, my friend. You are on the ball as an entrepreneur. You do not have to have a lie detector test. You are telling the truth, my friend. So last question. What would you like to say to anybody out there before you go?
Believe in yourself. It was my biggest problem when I was younger in my career. And if you don't have belief in yourself, nobody else will, and you're not really going to be successful. So you have to believe that you can do it, believe in your project, and want it badly enough, and good things will happen for you.
Incredible. You have been awesome. So my outro is this. Be sure to comment and subscribe. If you're watching us, if you're listening, make sure to rate us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Thank you for listening to Time Is Now with me, Dr. Slava Shut. Tune in every Friday at 8 a.m. and send in your questions to me on Twitter. And thank you, thank you, thank you. You've been incredible. You're amazing, my friend. And I wish you the best of luck. And I hope this is in every place. You're going to be a household name like a Tesla. And God bless you. And I hope everything goes well for you.
God bless you. Thank you for having me on. The pleasure was all mine.